Hello, family and friends. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Cody. Today, like the last one, it's going to be a little bittersweet. We're going to talk about my mother. How do you talk about somebody that brought you into this world, that you worshiped, revered, and loved more than life itself? But I'm going to try to give her justice and share with you as many memories as I can, um, and just tell you a little bit about Dorothy and DiGirolamo Cody. Mom was born in Springfield, Illinois, November 22nd, 1935. She was born to William Diamando DiGirolamo and Martha Geraldine Carney DiGirolamo. Back in them days, it was not well looked upon when you mixed nationalities such as the Irish and the Italian. But that's the life that Mom grew up with. She shared both worlds, the Italian world and also the Irish world. And as I reflect on it now, those genetics were passed down to us. You can see some of those characteristics in each of our brothers and sisters. You just can't deny it. Mom grew up as a child. She was raised in the Catholic faith, mostly, I would say, by Grandma McClernand, Martha Geraldine, who was instrumental in that. And Mom passed that faith on to us, her children. We're rooted in faith. Mom was a shining example in everything that we looked at in life. But our faith is deeply within inside us. We've relied on it for many, many times. She herself did as well when her husband passed away. Mom was a widow at 40, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a bit. Growing up, Mom spent a lot of time with her cousins, especially the Irish cousins. As I mentioned before earlier in an earlier video, she was about as close as a sister could be to her first cousin, Billy Rose Carney. So close that they had nicknames for each other. Billy Rose called my mom Didge, and I'm sure that was short for DiGirolamo, as Mom referred to Billy Rose as Carn. So those two were Didge and Carn, and they were separated by a year in age. They attended the same elementary school and Catholic school. Mom moved to San Diego for her senior year. But growing up, they attended the Sacred Heart Academy. Mom was an intelligent young lady, I'll tell you. If you look at any of us Cody kids and see any intelligence in us, that's where it came from Dorothy Ann. She, however, did experience divorce. Mom's parents divorced, I want to say when she was around 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that area. And so Mom was basically raised by Grandma McClernand, and that's who I'll call her. I'll call her Grandma McClernand, because many of us knew her by that. And Grandma McClernand eventually found a new mate in Patrick John McClernand. And so Mother really had two fathers. She had the Italian biological father, William DiGirolamo, and her stepfather, Patrick J. McClernand. I'm sure that growing up, Mom, oh, it was a struggle. You know, anytime that you're part of a broken marriage and a child, it's hard to handle sometimes. I know, um, but boy, she learned so much and shared so much with all of us. It was when they moved to California, I think, that things started to change for her. And that last year of high school, um, she got away from the Italian heritage, but it was never forgotten. She met my dad, Leo, in the service when he was in the service during the Korean War. Eventually, they got engaged and went to Springfield, as I told you earlier, and got married. During her time in San Diego, though, she did some work that carried on her senior year. She worked as a telephone operator for a defense contractor and the company that they had in the San Diego area. I think they were referred to as General Dynamics, if I remember right. And Grandma actually got her the job there. They both worked there for quite a few years. Grandma eventually, as I told you before, went to work as a secretary for Grandpa McClernand when he was the business agent for the Bricklayers Union out in San Diego. Before that, though, Mom, growing up in Springfield and through her early high school years, also worked as a, I think she sold popcorn at a movie theater. I know that she was big into watching movies, and I'm sure that love came from that particular time in her life. One of the memories I'll tell you, as far as movies and actors and that sort of thing, she did tell me one time that she rode the train from Springfield to Chicago and sat near and ended up meeting Red Skelton, which was kind of an interesting thing for us. And she always had she found time to watch the Red Skelton Hour when he was on TV. She also, if I'm name dropping here, lived across the street from a professional baseball player. He was a infielder for the St. Louis Cardinals. His name was Dick Schofield. So those are two names that I remember very well that Mom shared with me throughout the time. Mom really was a saint, a living saint, especially after Dad passed away in 1976. Mom was a 40-year-old widow with 7 children at home. Well, actually, I was there too, so I guess I was still a child. I guess hadn't got on into the adult world yet. Might have been doing some adult work, but certainly didn't act like one. But anyway, she was to be admired. She raised those children all on her own. Never went on food stamps or welfare or any of that. It was just through hard works and struggles, and to the thanks of many dear friends in Wolf Point. Through her time there, when she moved after the wedding in Springfield, she was well loved. She earned a lot of friendship through the Catholic Daughters Association, through the Catholic Church. They each had a little society, they called them, and a lot of her friends came out of her particular society. I don't remember what the name of it was, but her friends included, of course, Sally Listrude, Gus Matajowski. As I told you before, they were always in the hospital together. Terry Strassner was one of her friends. Marge Legary. Egerbrit, what was her name? Diane. Diane Egerbrecht was another one that came from that Catholic Daughter Society. So, religion was really a key to a lot of the things that Mom did. Her faith was very strong. If she didn't have a strong faith and belief in God, I don't know how she would have survived raising all of the kids, instilling that faith in us. It still continues today. Those friends really looked out for her after Dad passed away. Another group of friends were the ones that were her country friends. I mentioned George Stenslin being a real good friend of Dad's. Well, his wife Joanne was also a good friend of my mom's. So basically, after Dad passed away, it was the Stenslins and the Matajoskis, most definitely Dan and Mary O'Connor. Mary was like a mom also to my mother. Lots of memories there. Maybe one of the future videos I'll talk a little bit about the O'Connors and what I remember most of all about them. But after Mom passed away, not Mom, but Dad, Mom set an example for a lot of people. She was admired by so many, respected in the fact that she did that all on her own. She very much like my dad was a social animal. Also, very bright woman, well read. She shared that gift with me. Showed me a lot of things about life, just following her example. It really was hard for me when she passed away in '99 in May. That's you talk about FDR talking about December 7th, 1941 is a day that will live in infamy. Well, my infamy day that will never leave my mind is the day that Mom left this world on May 28th, 1999. This year marked the 27th anniversary of her death. But I thank God for the fact that I was given 44 years with her. She was my first teacher. I learned so much. You talk about coffee with Cody. After Dad passed away, and I went off to college at her. I don't know if it was encouragement or direction, but she strongly recommended the fact that I needed to move on in life and take care of myself. I had a couple of children. I needed to look out for them. So you certainly set the example of being a parent, just doing the best that you can with the circumstances that you're given. She, after Dad passed away, she worked at various jobs, mostly at the Elks. She did a lot of waitressing, and it was not easy work. Mom was a big woman. That's part of our genes as well, because Dad was a big guy. So most of the Codys are big boned and well constructed. But going on through life, after Mom passed away, Mom decided in, I want to say, after she encouraged me to go back to school, which wasn't a good time for me. That was my second tour of duty at college, and I wasn't ready to finish that out yet. Still partying, still doing the things I shouldn't have been doing. But Mother, on the other hand, she continued to grab life by by its body and just say, I'm moving forward. And she had her faith, and she ended up studying for real estate license. She went to work as a real estate agent under Leo Zimmer and Harold Dyke. She was a sales broker for them. Just to show you how sharp she was, she studied and passed that test with all of those kids. I'm sure so many disruptions and everything, but as I said, she was well read, and she studied hard, and she passed that test on her first attempt. And that's not always an easy thing to do. If you talk about people that try to pass the bar exam, or to get your medical license and things like that, those tests are not easy. Even becoming a teacher, some of the teacher tests, not everybody passes those on the first go around either. But Mom did, and she was into the real estate business, providing for her family. In fact, she worked probably, I want to say 2 or 3 years before she decided that she wanted to become a real estate broker herself. So again, some more studying, and lo and behold, she passed her broker's license on the first attempt as well. So Mom eventually started Cody Real Estate, and for the first part of her journey as a broker, she set that up in our house on Dayton Street. There was a little room that we used to call a sewing room. It was kind of a multi-purpose room, because I know that there was a bed in there at one time, but it was to the front of the house, and Mom could isolate the other part of the house, and so she just set that up as her office and worked out of that for a few years until eventually Grandma and Grandpa McLaren came from California and helped establish her own office. I want to think that it was maybe on First Avenue down there by the Ford garage. I'm sure that house burned now, but it was on the corner between the Ford garage and the Sherman, on the opposite corner. It was a 2-story house, and I'm pretty sure that Mom's first real estate office was there. And she was successful. At the time, she decided to continue looking and improving herself. She decided that she needed something for her retirement, so she looked at investing in the bar business. For those of you that remember, Mom bought the bar in 1983, Arlo's Bar, and she entrusted me because I'd had experience in the bar business with the Elks and working for the Shumways at Dad's and various other fill-in bartender jobs and different things. She knew that I had experience in the bar business. When she opened up and bought Arlo's Bar on Main Street, she hired Peggy Barber, who was the bar manager at the Elks, and then also another gal, I don't remember what her name was. But anyway, those were the first 2 bartenders there, and I was the third, working as the manager, trying to learn the business aspect of it. I did have some college experience with business, be it not so good in the classroom, but I was a good accounting student in high school. And even though I may not have attended classes, I understood a little bit about business, and certainly Mom assisted me with that, and we worked side by side. The problem with the bar business, and any business that is its timing, and we got in at the very tail end of an oil boom in Wolf Point. That was way before the Bakken expansion. But we were able to maintain and run the bar from 83 to 87. She was able to secure the bar by mortgaging her house and getting a small business loan. And so when the bar eventually business declined as the oil business declined, we had to turn it back into the small business administration because we could no longer handle it. It was at that time that she made sure that I went back to school and got my degree. But Mom, when we were running the bar, also decided in 1984 that she wanted to dip her foot into politics. At the time, House District 31, which it still is, basically at that time it was Roosevelt County and parts of Sheridan and Daniels. But Mom decided that she wanted to run. She'd been involved in politics. I told you that she actually got me an appointment to the academy through her contacts with Senator Melcher. She was also instrumental in helping Ted Schwinden get into the governor's house. She was on the Democratic committee in our area for many, many years. So she gets into the election in '84, and at the time, House District 31 was represented by a Republican by the name of Orrin Vinger. And Orrin was the general manager for MDU in Wolf Point in the area. So he was well respected too, as well as Mom, but it was a strong campaign, and Mom eventually won the election and became a representative from Wolf Point for House District 31. Her career in politics started in 1984. She was sworn in '85. Martha was a senior. She decided that she didn't want to move to Helena because at the time she still had Martha, Troy, and Dennis at home. Well, Troy and Dennis, I think, moved with Mom to Helena when she was there in '85, and Martha finished out her senior year at home. I was living at home, kind of keeping an eye on her. There's some stories there too. Martha can still. Oh, I better leave that one alone. I'll just say PU, boys and girls, and Martha will know what I mean, and so will some of her friends that were there to witness that. Oh, Lord. So Mom does her term, a 2-year term, 86. Next term comes up. She runs again for re-election. I'm sure there was an opponent, but I don't remember who it was. But she didn't have any problems. Again, I had my foot dipped in it because I did a lot of campaigning, door-to-door knocking, just like I had earlier with Dad when he was the sheriff. So I had some experience there as well. And she goes on and wins that election. So 87 is the year that she is in the legislature for the second term. Troy, he spends his whole senior year in Helena, along with Dennis. Grandma at this time, Grandpa DiGirolamo passed away in '85. So Grandma DiGirolamo, Grandma McClernon. Grandma McClernon became a widow in '85 and eventually moves to Wolf Point and moves to Helena with Mom. And so they live together there with Dennis and Troy as she's representing Wolf Point and District 31 in the legislature. Again, well-respected, strong Democrat. Democrat policies and politics were fairly strong during that time. I think they had the governorship, although I think the first year that she got in maybe was when Tim Babcock was the governor. I don't remember for sure. I'd have to go back and look at those dates just to nail it down. But anyway, one of my favorite times was I made a couple trips to Helena, and it was always with pride and emotion that she would bring us down on the house floor, any of her children that came to visit her, and introduce us to the whole house. And she would get up with her microphone, and she really didn't need a microphone. I mean, if you knew Mom, she had an infectious laugh, a loud voice. When she spoke, people listened. And that was out of respect mostly. They knew that she had something to say. One thing I can tell you about Mother was that she may be of a strong opinion, but she was not afraid to listen. That was a great feature about her, and she taught that in us. She said that she had a great-grandmother that told her one time, "A still tongue makes a wise head." And that was true. You know, you never understood it at the time, but growing up and moving on in life as an adult, there's a lot to be said in that. And that really meant that you need to take time to listen. You may have a differing opinion, but at least respect the individual that has a different opinion than you. Hear them out. You can certainly debate the points of view. That's one of the problems that we have right now in today's politics, is that nobody wants to listen. Everybody wants to be right. And that was one of the things that got Mom out of politics. She served 4 terms. Her last term, she could see politics changing, that it was more partisan, not so much being able to compromise and come to an agreement. And that's one of the things that she passed on to me, was that point of view about politics, that you may still have your opinion, hear out the other guy, but it's just not that way anymore. And that's too bad. It's a shame. A lot of those old politicians, you can go back, I don't know how many years, but you can look at the times when certainly there was Democrats versus Republicans and different philosophies, but they always found a way to compromise and get things done. There's not a lot of things getting done today. Mom, after that, left the legislature. By that time, we had turned the bar back. I had gone back to school, this time with the family, that goal in mind, knowing that I needed to secure a future for them and for myself. Mom eventually lost her house because she had mortgaged it with the bar. She moved across the alley and rented a house that Ledegees used to live in, across the alley from us. I don't remember if who owned it. Yeah, she rented it. But anyway, she lived there for a little bit, and then Grandma went back to California, packed up her stuff, and moved it to Wolf Point and bought a house in Wolf Point on the north side, up on Crescent Drive. And so Mom and Grandma lived in that house. Dennis, I think at the time, was maybe graduating. Mom would have finished out her term in 1990, so she did 84 to 90 in the legislature. And then Dennis graduated in 91, so Dennis lived there with Mom and Grandma through his senior year. The rest of us were out on our own doing different things. By that time, I had graduated from Eastern Montana College, got my teaching degree, and came back to Wolf Point and started teaching the fall of 91. No, was it 91? Yeah, it would have been the fall of 91. So it would have been, was that Dennis's senior? No, Dennis would have graduated in the spring of 91. So I started teaching there. Mom continued through the real estate business after she got out of the legislature, and then started to be a substitute teacher in Wolf Point. She actually did, I don't know how many years in Wolf Point as a substitute teacher, work in real estate, and then made a decision that she too, like myself, needed to look at her future and secure something for her retirement. Certainly losing the bar and the house and all of that, it was kind of like starting over. And so what she decided to do was to once again get back into the political arena. She became the county assessor. She was a county assessor in Wolf Point. I don't remember when she went. I want to say it was the early to mid 90s, and she was the county assessor for a while. And then at some point she decided that she wanted to run for county commissioner. Whoever was the county commissioner at the time decided to retire. And so Mom decided that she wanted to become the county commissioner. She, I think, ran for county commissioner, I want to say 90, it was either 94 or 96. Because she didn't finish out her first term when she passed away in 99. And county commissioners had a 6-year term. So it had to have been either 94 or 96 when she became the county commissioner and began that first year or first term. Again, had an opponent, but well respected. She'd had the experience from being in the legislature, from being the county commissioner, or not the county commissioner, but the assessor. So she had a lot of experience to enter that commissioner position. She ended up serving as the county commissioner till her health didn't allow her to complete the term. Mom discovered in, it was the fall of 98 that she had cancer. She found out in November, and she passed away in May, so she went fairly quickly. She died of renal cancer. Going back to some of the memories that I have with Mom and growing up, I told you that she had an infectious laugh, a strong faith. She was a driving force behind all of us. We respected her. I know that there are many, many times that each and every one of us disappointed her. I know personally, I've regretted several things and several times when I didn't live up to her expectations, and certainly I reflect now and regret it. But that's part of life and growing up, and so we move on, just like we moved on from Dad's death, and we moved on from Mom's. They are gone, but they're never ever forgotten. We promised Mom after she passed away that we would get together as a family, all of the siblings, and meet every so often, and we have since '99 until this year, we've been getting together at least 2 years, um, meeting up somewhere in one of the siblings' locations or wherever they decided to have the reunion, and we've been doing that ever since. And that's part of the reason why we've kept so close, is that we've taken the time. Now, we may not have all been able to be at the same reunion at the same time with life going on and taking part of it, but we've always tried. And this year, it will be no exception. We did lose Tony in January of 25. So this will be our first reunion with now only 9 of us remaining. I'm pretty sure that all 9 of us left will be at the reunion. And then all of our children that can make it, and their children, as the Cody clan continues. But going back to Mom and her infectious laugh, and you know, one of probably the funniest times I ever had, we had skipped religion classes. Every Wednesday, the high school kids had what was called CCD. We had Wednesday night religion classes. Well, on this particular Wednesday night, it was Take a Chance night at the theater. We we knew that the movie was going to be Dirty Dingus McGee, and it was an R movie, so we were going to be able to get in there. I think it was a 50-cent Take a Chance night, so it was cheap to go, and we got caught. You know, growing up, you think you get away with stuff, but you don't really. What happened was, we skipped the religion class. We're all in the movie. We got our popcorn and our soda. And I don't know if you remember the theater, the old theater, but it had 2 loges. It had a main floor with a stage and the screen behind it that they showed the movies on. And then there was a downstairs loge, a section that was raised up a little bit. And then up at the top was the balcony. And the balcony is where the movie projector was, and where it shot onto the screen to show your movie. Well, anyway, we're sitting in the main part of the theater, several of us classmates, getting ready for this movie. And as we're watching the movie, all of a sudden there's a funny part that comes out. And lo and behold, guess who's up in the balcony? You just hear this tremendous roar. It's Dorothy and Cody. My goodness. Busted. Well, needless to say, that was probably the first and last time we ever skipped religion classes, because she was certainly going to check on us. But that's a memory I'll never ever forget. There's another story I'll tell you, that one of the teachers that was with us in Wolf Point, Mom was actually doing her substitute teaching when I was there as a first and second year teacher. And one of the gals that was teaching with me years later told me that she could remember a time when she came into the teacher's lounge before the bell rang to start the day, and I was coming in just a little bit after my mom to refill my coffee and head back to my room, and she was there getting ready to substitute, and I said, "Good morning, Mother," and I reached over and leaned into her and gave her a kiss. And that teacher friend said that she never ever forgot that, and saw the love and affection that we had. Another part about memories with Mom is that during that time, and when Grandma was living in Wolf Point with Mom, just a lot of memories up there at that house. And then Grandma, for whatever reason, decided she wanted to move back to Illinois and be closer to her family. So she sold her house in Wolf Point. Mom convinced Terry, who was in Italy, seismographing, that he needed a home base. And so they found a house across the street from where Grandma used to live and purchased it. And so Mom moved into that house. Martha had moved back to Wolf Point. She had got her degree out of Carroll College. She was teaching. And so there was Mom and Martha's child Luke, nephew Luke, and Terry would come home whenever he could from Italy during those 2 years. And so Mom lived there, and that was another rendezvous point. Always enjoyed going up there on the weekends, having coffee, getting into discussions with her. Just a lot of memories. Shared the world. We shared politics. We shared religion. We shared the news of the day, locally, nationally, world news, whatever it was. We always had time to sit and chat, drink our coffee, and just visit. That's where part of that intelligence comes from. I may not be as well read as my mother, but certainly the reading that I've done has been through computer. Once the computer technology started, I'm not a bookworm anymore. Never really was. Didn't like to read a whole lot of books in high school. Always listened to friends who would tell me about what they had read, and then that's basically how I got through school. Just a good memory. Still have one. That's one of the things that the Lord's blessed me with. Mother had a good memory as well. She also showed us how to handle death, because in her lifetime there were 3 occasions that death really hit her hard, and she was able to overcome each of those deaths. The first one was certainly with Brother Todd when he passed away as an infant. Mom, for about a 2-week period there, farmed us out and struggled. I don't remember if that was the time that she went away on a little vacation just to get away. She may have. I know that also when Dad passed away, she did grab the kids up, and they went on a vacation too, just to get out of town, to get away from things. Memories are tough, especially when a death is involved. You never ever forget. You just don't. And then certainly the last one was when Grandma McClernand passed away, because Grandma McClernand had come back to Wolf Point when Terry and Mom and Martha were living in the house across the street. Grandma purchased the house next to them. So Grandma lived in the house on Johnson Street, and then Terry's house was next to that. So there were 2 houses next to one another. And so Grandma was over there living in that house. Mom was right next door. They spent a lot of time together. It wasn't but maybe 6 or 8 months when Grandma moved back to Wolf Point and bought that house that she passed away. And Mom found her. She called me at school. I came up and consoled Mom, and we dealt with that death together. But certainly that was a tough time for Mother as well. Losing your own mom, it's not easy for those of you that have lost your mother, or any parent for that matter. One of the things, though, that I also look at is that certainly all of the siblings have so many memories both good and bad with mother. A lot of the grandchildren, the older ones especially, had some quality time with her. Just like my brothers and sisters did with Grandma McClurnan, so too my children and some of my siblings' children have some memories of Mom anyway, when she was still alive, and can take those memories and share them with their children, and pass it on down the generation. That's been my hope and dream here. That's one of the things that I could do, is to share things that can be a recorded history of the Cody family, in particular our roots, where we came from, moving forward. I'll be able to talk a little bit more about myself and my journey through adulthood, and where I got to where I'm at today. And then I'll move into some different subject matter, maybe some different topics. I certainly want to invite you to throw some comments in there. If there's anything about our family or things that you remember that you want me to try to go into detail with, or any upcoming topics or subject matter that you'd like for me to discuss. I know that I've got a lot of students out there that I taught, a lot of friends that I went to college with, just friends in general, friends of kids that we knew, friends of classmates, friends of our siblings. So if there's anything that you want me to go into, that's the purpose for this channel. I could go on and on and on about Mom. There's just so many memories. I know that as I go through these sessions, there'll be things that pop into my head that maybe I'll try to refresh, and maybe I won't. With this video, I've got some early Mom pictures that I'll share with you. I'll try to share whatever pictures I also have that would maybe bring back some memories. So with that, I think I'm going to close out this edition of Coffee with Cody. That's Coffee with Cody signing out.